So it looks like we might know of a Marvel Phase 6 multiverse project that they are currently developing right now and will hopefully announce Phase 6 at San Diego Comic-Con. We're hoping they announce the entirety of Phase 6 at San Diego Comic-Con so we really know what is coming for the end of the multiverse saga. Because there are plenty of movies that haven't been announced yet that we know about, like Shang-Chi 2, Doctor Strange 3. These are movies that are already confirmed but haven't really been mentioned by Marvel Studios themselves at all. So it would be nice to see the entirety of Phase 6 revealed, and I believe Marvel Studios knows this and has plans to reveal its entirety at San Diego Comic-Con. And one of those projects might be a project focused around Captain Britain. But it might not just be about Captain Britain, it could also be about MI13 and Gaia, if you remember her from Secret Invasion. The character who now apparently has the powers of just a ton of different heroes and villains. You thought she was gone, but she is not gone. But it does make perfect sense for the multiverse saga in Phase 6 to have a Captain Britain series due to his connection to the multiverse, leading an MI13 team because of their connection to the supernatural and mystical and alien threats that oppose not only the UK, but of course Earth. And this could actually be a very excellent project, done very well, connected to the overall multiverse saga, connected to the multiverse itself, if done right. So let's talk about everything we've heard so far about this project and how it would fit into the overall multiverse saga arc. And of course, if you're new to the channel and want to stay up to date on all things MCU, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. We're also giving away a PS5 and Xbox Series X to subscribers. Just subscribe and leave a comment and you are automatically entered, and we pick a winner at the end of every month. So right away, when I think Captain Britain, I do think of Henry Cavill. Now, it was reported a little bit ago that Henry Cavill has met with Marvel Studios about playing an upcoming role in the MCU. There is a rumor that he could be playing a Wolverine variant in Deadpool and Wolverine, which I honestly would like to see, but I think I'd like to see him have his own series and be a major character in the MCU even more. Rather than just having a quick cameo in Deadpool and Wolverine, it would be epic, but it would be quick. I'd rather have him stay in the MCU for a long time, but you can let me know your thoughts about that in the comments down below. But according to the Insider, My Time to Shine Hello, a Captain Britain series is in development at Marvel Studios right now. And this makes a lot of sense because we know that they still need to do some Disney Plus shows in Phase 6, and we also know from Marvel Studios' new plan, from what they have said, they are going to focus on more popular, well-known characters. And Captain Britain is pretty popular, but he might not be super popular like some other characters, like, of course, Spider-Man. However, he's popular enough, and if he is played by a really famous actor, like Henry Cavill, that could give this series enough hype to get people really interested in it. Especially if they really focus on MI13, the Captain Britain Corps, and the multiverse overall. If they do this, not only will it make a great story that fits into the multiverse saga extremely well, but the series on its own will be fantastic, and then we'll have another major player, main character in the MCU that can multiverse travel. Captain Britain. The Captain Britain Corps in the comics are literally a group put together to protect the multiverse. Each Captain Britain in each different universe is meant to protect their specific universe from multiversal threats, and then when they come together, they also fight multiversal threats as a unit to protect the overall multiverse. Now, if you recall, Marvel Studios has actually kind of hinted at Captain Britain already. In Avengers Endgame, there was an Easter egg dropped in the scene where Captain America and Iron Man go back in time, and Cap sees Peggy. He ends up in her office and she ends up going into the adjacent room. There we can briefly hear a conversation that she is having with another person. And if you watch the movie and turn the subtitles on, you can say that they're saying, "They're trying, ma'am, but Braddock's unit has been stopped by lightning strikes." Now, Braddock is a reference to who we believe to be either Brian Braddock, who is Captain Britain, or his father, James Braddock. Since this took place in the 1970s, it could be his father. But many believe that this does indeed seem to be a Captain Britain Easter egg here, meaning that Marvel Studios has at least been thinking about Captain Britain for some time now, and now that we are in the multiverse saga, it is the perfect time to bring him in and add him to the very interesting story that could be MI13. In the comics, MI13 is the United Kingdom's agency or unit that was specifically made to deal with the superhuman, supernatural, mystical, extraterrestrial, etc. threats to the United Kingdom. A story about Captain Britain and MI13 would be pretty cool to watch, especially if they do put in some of the history from the comics with Captain Britain inside of the MCU. For example, at one point in time, Captain Britain, Brian Braddock, does go to the US. He does a study abroad program. And this is already after he becomes Captain Britain. And when he goes to the US, his roommate is Peter Parker, Spider-Man. And the two of them actually end up fighting crime together. They meet one night fighting the villain Arcade, and from there they would begin to meet at night, sometimes doing patrols together. Now, Peter Parker would eventually realize that his English roommate was also the new English hero that had arrived, but Brian Braddock never realized that Peter Parker was Spider-Man. But I would love for them to do something really cool like that in the series. So this series could be pretty grounded if we are dealing with the MI13 team, but throughout it, or by the end of it, we could get that multiversal aspect to it. Brian Braddock was a graduate student at London's Thames University, and one night during the holidays he was working at a research center when the mercenary Reaver showed up to try and kidnap a scientist there. Now, Brian Braddock managed to escape with the intention on getting help, but unfortunately would be on a motorbike and was run off the road. He was about to die, he was bleeding out, but then he was approached by the wizard Merlin and his daughter Roma. And there they offered him a choice, the amulet of right or the sword of might. And he, believing himself to be a scholar, not really a warrior, chose the amulet, transforming him into Captain Britain. From there, we would go on to learn that there is basically a Captain Britain in every single universe, chosen to protect that specific universe from multiversal threats. Much like other variants, not every Captain Britain is the same. Some are very, very different. And sometimes when they needed, they would get together and form the Captain Britain Corps, assembled by Roma, Merlin's daughter, and they would protect the multiverse in its entirety against big threats. In fact, if they do this series, I hope there is one specific story they do leading up to some big event like Avengers Secret Wars. Eventually, the multiverse does begin collapsing, and the Captain Britain Corps go and they investigate why. They start to investigate incursions, but they catch the attention of the Beyonders, and the Beyonders essentially just wipe them out. If they are going to go with the Beyonder story in Avengers Secret Wars, which I really hope they do, this could be a direct lead up to Avengers Secret Wars with Brian Braddock surviving and going on to fight with the Avengers, the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, all the other hero teams in Avengers Secret Wars to try and save the multiverse. I think this would be pretty epic and would be a really cool way to end this series. And to top it all off, like I mentioned, it is said that Gaia is going to be returning in a British-based project. At the end of Secret Invasion, we saw that Sonya Falsworth actually recruited her. So it is possible that Falsworth is actually the person who could go on to form MI13. And that is most likely what she is recruiting Gaia for at the end of Secret Invasion. A super powerful person like her who possesses many different powers would be perfect for her team who investigates supernatural, superhuman threats. There is a lot that this series could tie into, and again, it could have very big multiversal implications, and I would be really stoked to see this. But go ahead and let me know your thoughts about this in the comments down below. And again, would you like to see Henry Cavill play Captain Britain? Because I sure would. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the latest Marvel news. If you are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify, we would love your support on there as well. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.